Okay, I'm recording.
You're live.
It's supposed to be live. I'm going to check it out right now. So I can save it to a few other places, as usual. And yep, looks like it's there. It's supposed to be live. I'm going to check it out right now. So I can see. Okay, the volume's working. And now I'm sharing to Facebook, Sawyer Heaven's Gate. I used a picture from that EP Birthwatch. No, EP Earthwatch.
What'd you call him?
Birthwatch.
That's
The
interesting.
real BP Earthwatch.
The birth watch of the Earth watch. Wait,
Yeah,
there's something to that. There's
who
something
he published, coming from I don't know, one of the telescopes, and then the infrared of it, I think, and applying one filter to the whole thing. So it's not like a whole bunch of different filters. Anyway, so that's my
And what is the picture of?
picture of Atlas that shows
Oh,
like looks like an eye with a pupil inside of it that's red and green, and it's got like an embryo in the middle of the
We haven't
green
listened to
part.
Baby Earth watching forever.
No, we haven't. We need to go and listen to a little bit of his stuff, see what he's been talking about
I
lately.
know. I would actually be curious on how he thinks about the whole
Iran.
Iran thing. I'm
Yeah,
actually very curious about that.
yeah.
How come like YouTube used to recommend his stuff all? Why do they do that? What about that earthquake guy too? Dutch sense.
I don't think he's doing that much now,
What the fuck?
because I don't see, when I go through the scroll through my subscribers,
Yeah,
I don't see him
your
much.
subscription.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, then Stephen,
We see him.
he's taken over a lot of the Earthquake
I'm sorry,
Watch.
he's just clickbaity. I'm sorry, like he's like, all this stuff is happening. I like the news that he's doing. He's
Yeah.
so smart.
Yeah.
But I don't like this is the biggest geomagnetic storm and it could fry this and it could do that. Every video is saying that.
Yeah.
And that gets old. Like, just give us the space news. Just give us, you don't need to say, like, the sun is exploding and we're all gonna, like, what?
Right, because it makes it into an illusion when it doesn't happen, and
Yeah.
then if it is happening, then
Satellites
to some
aren't,
degree,
like, falling out of the sky. Radio signals aren't being disrupted with these. I mean, some of them, but stuff's still working. Our cars aren't. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It's just
there are
like-
things happening that we don't necessarily hear about. A lot of things,
True.
right?
True.
So,
Like,
I mean, because every time I do some research on something like Atlas or whatever, I after the fact of things, then you hear all kinds of things that happen that you don't even know are happening at the time,
right.
from months ago.
And then especially during that blackout phase.
Yeah, and I mean, there were some situations where people suddenly lost power and stuff like that, but you never know why that's happening. Of course, but
Well,
and
and all the outages at the airports and all that stuff.
right,
Like
outages
you
at
said,
airports,
You never know what's happening.
right. So you have to kind of take it with a grain of salt to some degree, but at the same time, to discount it all as not happening, well, to me, that would just be a mistake of accepting misinformation. Because if you don't know, then why would you think that it's not potentially happening, or happening in a certain way that is partially accurate, and being spun as something else by the media, even automatically, even by just simple, that uh, they don't want to appear to be like the people that are predicting the end of the world, kind of thing. And because the people that have been predicting the end of the world, kind of thing, many of them have already shown many of their colors to where we don't want to believe a word they say, especially when they're embroiled in the politics and the wars, and uh, but all there's so much. It's so difficult now, increasingly so, to that you can believe what you see is what you get in something. That's why I believe there's probably a real thirst to see people that are genuine, that are not trying to trick you into thinking one way or another way, or manipulate you in that regard, or to join their cause. And that's one of the things that I'm not doing. I don't have anybody joining my cause. I mean, if they subscribe to me, then in a sense, that's supporting at least my expression of this information
But
from
like you
TNO.
said many, many times, you're not making any money
Right,
from this channel.
right. I'm not making any
You're not
money.
making any money.
I wouldn't mind making some, but I'm glad I haven't,
I am too.
because
Your
you
integrity.
can't use that against me. I mean, people still are going to do that and have done it. To think that, well,
You wrote a book.
yeah, I wrote a book, and so I make a few dollars from that.
Yeah, barely.
Yeah, and it's literally, I mean, I make like
the
$30.
cost to frickin' cover the shipping.
Yeah, right.
No, that's not true. You make like $20 off of it.
More like 30, I think.
Yeah.
Out of the 40 that I sell it for, plus the
Is
shipping.
anything happening in your chat? Do you have all the things selected?
Let me actually, I didn't take my chat away. I mean, I didn't look at my chat yet.
Sawyer. Like, is it 8 p.m. and like Iran's getting nuked right now and we don't know?
Well, I hope that it's not, Iran's not getting nuked. I think this, I don't know. I mean,
It is. It's 8 p.m. on the East Coast.
I mean, I was shocked to death by 9/11, so I could be shocked to death by this too. I'm going to pop out my chat. You probably could hear Kathy in the background talking.
Hello.
There she is. And Hot Pocket's here and says, "You're live. I can see you." Oh, yeah, cool.
Yay.
Yeah, I'm in here. Right, you can see me. I'm not in the car, hidden in the
Trump
shadows.
Trump delayed the Iran attack for 2 weeks.
Good. Good. Maybe, he's testing the waters.
Great.
And maybe he's going to lose everybody. Instead of just the ones that
He's so terrible.
have always been against him.
He's so terrible.
Yeah, he's a...
Like threatening a whole
Yeah, it's like he's
civilization
a
to be
psycho.
annihilated. Like, can you imagine what those people felt like? And he's like, oh,
They were sending people to the
know.
sites that were going to be blown up to
I'm
be
the one that
human
told you.
shields. You told me that.
Yeah, that's insane. So, like, how did those people feel? And then he's like, oh, never mind. 2 weeks, I'm going to blow you up and annihilate you. And the stock market's like, wee.
But what kind of government sends their people to the?
I don't think the government sent them.
Just people who are just
Because they
designed
love
to.
their fucking country.
Yeah.
Just like people here love the fucking country.
Right. So they're willing
And
to
they're
die
like,
for their country.
Yeah, and they're like, we're going to go form human shields. And if the United States is going to blow us people up, then everybody's going to see how horrible the United States is.
Yeah, that's
right?
true. Yeah.
So here in the United States, if Iran was like, we're going to blow up your we're going to blow up your power plants, what would we do here? We would put the Marines around it. We put our military around it.
Of course, of course.
But if we didn't have a military, would the people go and do something about it? Would we stand up and fight for our infrastructure here?
Well, if they were here bombing us and
Yeah,
stuff.
I bet we would.
Yeah, sure.
We fucking would, I bet.
Yeah, that's
Excuse
right.
my language, but
That's right.
I would hope we would fucking fight for our country, whether we agree.
Well, not
with
fight
the
for the
government or
country, but
not.
fight to live.
Yeah.
To fight, have the
Because
right
we
to.
know which devil we're dealing with here,
Yeah.
and
It's
Iran
true.
doesn't want to be here. They have no desire to take over. They've never made any moves outside of their borders.
That's from what I've heard is that's
They
true.
just defended themselves
Yeah.
when they've been attacked.
Yep. I've heard that, and I believe it. I don't doubt it. I mean,
Did you
for
tell me that they started meddling? The United States started meddling in their government when? In '57, was it?
yeah, the 50s.
When we were replaced with the whatever?
Yeah, with
The
Well-
fanatical dude. Like, they had a democracy.
what was his name? I forget his name now. Pavlovi? No.
I don't know. I'm
Mossadegh. Mossadegh was in power.
That sounds
He was in Iran, and the United States toppled him. The CIA toppled him, and they brought in
Ayatollah dude?
no Milosevic. What was his name? I forgot his name, but he was
Not a
the
good man.
he was the CIA guy, and then the Iran War was happening,
Bush?
partially during that
Oh,
time.
no,
The
I'm
first one,
sorry.
Iran and Iraq. And the United States was in bed with Iraq, but they were also supporting Iran at the same time.
They were giving them, like, weapons or something?
That's what I've heard. I've heard talked about by the people that supposedly know the history. But you know that pictures of Rumsfeld shaking the hands of Saddam Hussein over Kuwait, because the United States had agreed that because Saddam Hussein tried to go into Kuwait to get Kuwait to stop drilling sideways into the oil fields that were in basically his geography in Iraq. That's the way I understood it from the and so that's why he went into there, and he thought he got the okay. It was an indirect okay that he got from the United States to do that, because the United States was in control of Kuwait. And so he was talking with them about it, and he got them to agree that they were going to like turn a blind eye to what he was doing. And then they didn't. And that's what started the first Iraq War,
He did, right. He
towards first Bush.
and that's because he didn't want the money, right? He had too much money. And gold, actual
Well,
gold.
he wanted to take the United States off of the dollar for the oil standard. And that was a big
And
threat.
Isn't that what's happening right now?
That's happening now too.
Yeah.
And that's already been happening, because China and other countries are not operating under the dollar, for their oil.
What's going on in your chat?
Actor Michael Merchant's here. Says, hope you are well, Sawyer.
Hey,
Thank you. Yes, I am. And Kathy and I are. And says, bless you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Erin Byron is here.
Erin!
Says,
hey,
happy birthday, Kathy.
Thank you. I'm sorry I haven't responded to your message.
That's right. Erin was in your chat the other day, wasn't she?
I don't think so.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know if Erin has ever... Erin, you've never come into my live stream, have you? That's funny. I have to work on some shorts.
Yeah, Kathy is working on a short right now that has to do with her birthday.
Oh, I already posted that.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna
Because
post it on my Facebook.
we went to the store and we got some bird feeder kind of things.
Yes.
Really kind of cute little things. Oh, squirrels underneath the table.
Let me observe. I gotta pull some.
He's looking how to get onto the table.
That's okay. There's just water up there.
Oh yeah, he's gonna try to get on the table. And then he heard me cough.
He wants to get on the bird feeder. There's plenty of stuff on the benches, and there's plenty of stuff on the ground. He needs to eat that stuff on the ground. He knows there's good stuff on the feeder. Look, he took off. There's stuff on the ground too. I actually threw.
And I could see him looking up over you, trying to think about how to get
know.
onto the table, but I don't know why you didn't figure it out.
Well,
To just jump on top of the.
we scared him off.
Yeah, we distracted him, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, and I threw peanuts out there. He just found the
All
good
right,
peanuts
so-
I threw out there.
So we enjoy the wildlife
I
around where
want
we
them
live,
to eat the stuff I put on the ground
and
before more people come camping.
so Gondola from Finland.
Ooh, Finland.
And actor Michael Merchant says, "Oh, nice, happy B-Day."
Thank you. I'm 52.
52,000 years,
52,000 years old.
and she still looks like a spring.
Not a chicken. I don't look like. I don't have
No.
a chicken shape.
You got no chickens.
More of an
I don't.
emu? Do I look like an emu, kind
Oh, I like emus.
of? I got kind of a heavy.
I don't know what
bottom.
kind. I probably look more like a bird.
I don't have a wide. Well, I do have a wider waist than. Maybe I do look like a chicken. I don't have spindly legs though.
No, you don't. And Gondola from Finland says, "Was Heaven's Gate only in the United States, meaning were people accepted only in that area?"
Gosh.
And no, they weren't accepted. It wasn't based on geography where people were accepted, except for where Tiendo chose to bring their information to, as they were awakening in the early 1970s. They did feel like that the United States was developed
Do you have water?
to be a melting pot, so that all the representatives from all over the world in their genetic strains could be present in the current bodies that we called vehicles, so that returning souls could take over those bodies in order to grow them stronger, the soul bodies, and become members of the next level. So Tiendo came to the area that they had prepared for this. But that didn't exclude people from other areas, because it ended up becoming a global story in 1975 and in 1997. And to some degree in 1992, 3, 4, 5 and 6 and 7, with the internet, with the satellite, satellite ministries that, I mean, not ministries, but when, in fact, in this tape that I'm talking about a little bit in this stream, 627, what Doe is talking about is what to broadcast on the satellite dish. And he was talking about taking over part of the slot that Jimmy Swaggart was giving up because of Jimmy Swaggart's descent from leading his group of people through his internet or his satellite TV broadcast, evangelical broadcast. So, and we did put some videos up on a satellite dish at that time, but I'm not going to get off the track with that, of what you're asking about, because, and then in 1993, no, 1993. Right, because it was after the USA Today information ad that went into an international edition and went to a national edition of USA Today on May 27th, 1993. So after that happened, Doe and a committee of students, that I wasn't part of that committee, took that USA Today information advertisement that Doe wrote and modified it into a document that they ended up inserting into a bunch of different magazines, newspaper magazines, that were circulating around the world, but primarily because this was in the English-speaking areas, meaning England and anybody that received the, what was the title of some of those documents? I mean, those, let's see, one of them was, I have to go look it up quick because it's not coming to mind. Greater, let's see, Higher Source? No, that was their thing. No, there was, let me go look it up quick.
What are you thinking about?
The newspaper magazines that were alternative magazines, where you'd see New Age stuff and things like that, that were circulate. Common Ground was one in the United States. Common Ground.
Like the New Times, the New Republic, like that kind of.
No, they're listed there in the list in the Heaven's Gate book,
Oh.
in the part where 1994 was happening. Well, anyway, they were put into newspapers that were like alternative kind of newspapers, kind of new agey.
Where
That
is it at in here?
it would be where right after the USA Today, after the USA Today information ad was published. It was right there, that next page. Right there, that was the USA Today, right? So the next page is what? Last chance to advance? No, keep on going.
Here.
Yeah, that's
Publications where.
right. And you can see the names of the different locations that were. Thank you for finding that.
Careful. Of course. You know I like it. So.
Yeah. Okay, so this is 1993. There was this big, it was a third of a page in USA Today in very small type. So it's very hard to read for somebody that's got any kind of eye problems. But I guess they'd have to use a magnifying glass. And Doe wrote it, and you can see it on the Heaven's Gate website in where the book section is, and search for USA Today, and then go after that, and you'll see all the different locations that a publication was sent to. And like, for instance, in Georgia, in the United States, it was Creative Loafing. And then also in Tampa, Florida, was Creative Loafing. And then the Twin Cities Reader in Minneapolis received it on July 28th. And the other ones were July 21st and 22nd. And then the Boston Phoenix was published in the public this document for Boston, Providence, Rhode Island, and Worcester County, Massachusetts, for July 28th and July 29th. And then was the Omega New Age Directory, which was in, I'm giving you everything, and I'll go back, I'll highlight the ones, there weren't that many outside the United States, I will say that, but there were a few. And anyway, so the Omega New Age Directory was in Arizona, Nevada, New York, and Utah on July 30th was published. And then the Phenom News in Michigan and South Central Canada, August 2nd. Then the Nexus was published in Australia on August 2nd. And we got a bunch of communications from people in Australia at the time. And some students were assigned to work with them through the P.O. box. That is the way they could get in touch with us. And they were, some of the people were sent Beyond Human tapes that were developed in 1992. Anyway, after that, so
What's going on in the chat?
so let me skip down to the answer to the question before I go back to the chat. England was sent to Steam Shovel Press, and that was published. That has a publishing in the United States on September 1st, but it also covered England, Scotland, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. The Steam Shovel Press. And then let's see if there were any others outside the United States. No, so I think I covered them. So that was an answer to that part of that question. Okay, so, and then actually some documents that were on the Heaven's Gate website, and they still may be there now, I don't remember now, were translated into German. And I think there's a former member who still believes in Tiendo, that his name is Juan. We refer to him as Juan Odie because he was in the classroom and we were together in the classroom and were partners at one point. And he has converted some materials into Spanish. Because he's from Venezuela. That's where he's living now. Anyway, so the next from Gondola from Finland says, that makes sense, thanks. Sometimes it just felt like it was just an American thing, even though it was news worldwide, if that makes sense. Then again, I wasn't there when it was in the news. I'm only 24. Yeah, I don't know exactly how much was published in 1975, but they were called the UFO Cult, or the UFO 2, or He and She, or The Mysterious 2 was a little movie, grade C movie that was made with...
Grade C.
Yeah.
Almost a Z.
Yeah, right. About the group, and so that you can take it with a grain of salt into its accuracy. It's got some things in it that have some basis in the truth, but other things that are completely blown out of proportion in it. As a lot of things that were written and made about Tiendo and crew. Anyway, and so Joseph Coates, hello. Hi all, and happy birthday to Kathy.
Thank you.
You can hear Kathy in the background there, even though we've got the heaters going here in where we are in Ohio.
We're in Indiana right now.
Oh, that's right.
That's okay, baby.
And Finbar says, hello. Yes, hi, Finbar. Hello, all from the UK. Greetings to you. Actor Michael Merchant says, do you know if any of those students exited their vehicles that might not have been realized because of the scope of the U.S.? Like, do you know if the people in Australia would have had notice to exit? I think I'm pretty sure to say that that there wasn't anybody else that was given notice to exit except for the things that Doe said in Doe's final exit video, which was not talking about anybody else in particular, if at all. It didn't mean that there was anybody else to exit if they weren't. Well, it's you can hear what he had to say about it, and I have to repeat, for the sake of anybody that's hearing this for the first time, that Doe's position and the classroom's position and my position is that I'm against the S word, the self-exiting. I'm against that because we need our vehicles. This is what they said as well, for humans, that we are. I don't think anybody here is not having plenty to work on in terms of improving their mind to, if that's what they choose, the direction to go in of becoming a member of the next level, even though they can still grow fast towards becoming a member of the next level currently. But the way we do that, the way that T and Doe, Doe and crew outlined in the book, is talked about in Junodi's book, in the book on the website, in the book section, as the away team from deep space surfaces before departure. And if you read that thoroughly, you'll see what the formula is of being in there, being part of their motion. And that's, and it's basically by desire to learn their information. And even in the Doe's final exit, it was based on somebody believing in the information. I mean, thinking it made sense to them, and however they believe it to some degree. And the next level, the relationship that each of us has with the next level in our own way is what some of the title of this broadcast was about, talking about the separation from humanness. Now, I believe that people that are going against this government and all the governments that are warring with each other, even though you can understand it more when a government is on self-defense, but are separating from wanting to have that experience or any of that behavior or being a part of any country that would be doing that to somebody else, like the United States is doing at this time especially. To me, that's a degree of separation from looking up to them as the solution to anything. And to goodness, like when, Trump just recently said something about God is good. I mean, that was ridiculous. So God, sure, God is good, but that doesn't mean He is. And what they're doing is, and what they're talking about, and what doing, and their threats, and they're thinking that they're working for God. That's ridiculous. But but the term God is a complete bastardization anyway. At this point, it doesn't mean anything.
I almost thought you were going to say the term God is a complete bastard.
Well, it's a
Go.
it's a distorted thought. It was distorted in the words that were used in the record books. In the record books, it didn't say God did this and God did that and God did this and God did that. It didn't say that. It said Elohim did this, and it didn't call them supreme beings. It said they were judges and magistrates. They had some, overview of what was going on here, and in the Moses parts of the records, uh, it called them Jehovah, which simply meant I exist. I'm real. I'm a real person. I'm a real physical being. Even though they didn't use the word physical at that point, because that was probably hard enough to wrap their heads around that it was physical.
About that in like the Old Testament, though, like in Lot with the two angels or whatever.
Right. That members of the next level, when they would show up someplace, like in the Lot story, they were seen to be different. They were identified as something different, and Lot apparently recognized them. And I know there's all kinds of criticism in that story, and I'm not saying that story is all verbatim accurate, because we know that as soon as a member of the next level that is taking over a human form, in whatever age it is, we know that after they leave, that the lower forces jump in to try to distort and dilute what they were saying. And that's why that there's some problems when you see that Moses supposedly walked off into the desert and told them not to follow him, if I understand correctly, and they didn't,
See ya.
and he disappeared. They never. I think later on, some people went to look for him, and they didn't find any body or anything or bones, or they could have just missed it, right? But
I don't
the
know,
idea,
I found Evie just fine.
right? But you know where you put her.
I do.
Yeah.
I mean, you could probably follow his tracks.
Sandstorms, in the desert, and
True. And how long
it might be hard to follow tracks, so you don't know exactly what happened to him. But T&O felt like the next level took that vehicle. So they were saying something that you won't find, I don't think, in the actual records. And of course, you can think that they just were guessing about it, and that's true. There's nothing wrong with
whatever you want.
thinking what you want about it. But what was Doe's advice on overcoming serious drug alcohol addiction? To treat it as if when you were tempted by it, to treat it as if there was somebody wanting to influence you to do that, and telling it to get the hell away, and trying to block those thoughts, and then put your mind on something else. And I think, in my opinion, for the classroom, Doe would say, ask your highest source, whatever you consider to be the highest source in this, on the earth, or off the earth, as far away from the earth as possible, because there's a lot more going on out there than here, and it came from something. At least that's the way I feel. And if it didn't come from something greater than the earth itself and the life forms on it, even though the earth itself and the life forms on it are tremendously great and wonderful and beautiful and everything. It's a magnificent place. But just like I know that humans didn't create certain, I can trust that they did certain things for various reasons, of course, that some other people might not trust anymore, but that's their prerogative. But I also have a sense that if certain things couldn't be developed without human intelligence, then why do we think that all these biological creatures and everything were developed without some kind of higher intelligence. To me, that's a logical way to look at it to some degree, but I'm not going to try to convince anybody of that because I don't do a very good job of it. But so, in terms of treating serious drug alcohol addiction, the T and Do were in favor of the 12-step programs when I was in the classroom and we were talking about addictions to substances, and 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 so they can work for people, and that's a good thing. It doesn't mean that they're perfect. It doesn't mean that somebody's not gonna still go off the wagon. But if they keep on trying and they accept that they've got that problem, that's a long ways to it, right? And if they ask help of their fellow loved ones and are willing to go through a program, Betty Ford or whatever the different programs are, I mean, most people probably can't afford a program like that.
Yeah, I don't know if that really helps people.
Yeah.
For something else. I don't even think that's around anymore.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that there are programs, there are people that know how to help people with that. So being open to that help is a big step as well. And but within the classroom, it would have been pretty hard to see that somebody that was seriously addicted to alcohol or substances, drug substances, being able to keep up with the classroom very well, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know for a fact because we didn't quiz each other on what kind of addictions and what degree of addiction we had to substances before we joined. But the program was kind of cold turkey from everything. Not kinda, it was a cold turkey program. So that, and if you had a problem with it along the way, then if you sought to ask T and Do for help, then they would try to give somebody, they would talk to their older members about how to help that individual. And based on, that was their way, was to always go to their older members for understanding about how to help anybody in a problem. And a lot of times they did ask questions like that of their older members, and they felt like they got good answers, and they put those answers into motion, and then they adjusted things as things needed to be adjusted, so that they would be a better fit for people to have a chance of overcoming whatever their addiction was. You can have an addiction to sexuality. You can have an addiction to your own opinions about something being, the highest opinions, the best opinions, the most worthwhile. You can. You can be addicted to, thinking that you can see through how other people are supposed to be, and look at how many people that are in the religious movements that are, looking their nose down at people that aren't in those same religious sects, and traditions, and forming their own hierarchies to where they're worthy of receiving all the alms from the people to keep them alive, and so that they can praise them, and so they can give us instruction on how to relate to the idea that they're creators. The creators don't need religious hierarchies. And that's why there's not going to be any religious hierarchy with the T&O information, best I can tell.
And they don't need us acting holy.
Right. They don't act. We're not acting holy. We're not trying to appear to be holy. The appearance of goodness might be worse than not having any goodness. It's like it's a delusion to make somebody want to be like you or to think good about what you have to say or to give you stature. Yeah, stature, your own.
What Mark and Sarah have done to us. It makes me sick.
Yeah.
Like, who in their...
Yeah, it is a sickness, I believe. I think
So crazy.
I think you can get so
Like,
wrapped
they
up in
thought-
yourself.
They thought that you playing audio tapes on this stream was going to do what? So bad that they had to sue you.
Defy
And
them is what they're really about.
It's just insane.
Defy their instructions,
And
they say.
that the court is letting them do it is insane too. Because the attorneys don't care because they're getting money.
Right,
They don't care.
right,
Like that first attorney, I'm guessing whatever they fell out on, it doesn't matter. They don't have that attorney that served us with the cease and desist. That attorney was getting chummy with me and asking me for my water recipe and shit, and they didn't like that.
oh, right,
Because
Right.
his wife was having like problems with her stomach and stuff.
right,
So I was like, psh. And that attorney is the same one that hit your channel with copyright strikes.
right.
It was his name.
Before that happened
Yes.
with
And
the
then when we actually got sued,
cease and desist.
no, that did not happen.
That was after the cease and desist?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
After the cease and desist is when they started hitting your channel. After Mark said to your face, "I'm not trying to take your channel down."
Right,
A couple months later, you got 2 copyright strikes. The third one, your channel, done. And then you have to fight with YouTube to get it back. But
which I
YouTube
did.
automatically takes it down if you get a third copyright strike in a row.
Right, right,
So you fought it, and you won.
right. As fair use. I fought it with YouTube.
And yeah, and then they sued us.
Right,
And when they sued us, it was a totally different law firm. It was not that same attorney. That was Garcia and whoever.
right, right.
And now we're Crum and Messner, I think.
Yeah.
I can't remember the other name. Anyway,
Reeves,
is
right?
that I can't forget.
maybe something
No,
like that.
Messner and Reeves is the injury attorneys, and I think Dallas or Houston. We kept seeing the bill.
Oh, okay.
Maybe that's where I'm getting Messner too. It's definitely Crum. Crum and there's another name I believe. Anyway, not the attorney that served us with a cease and desist, and that also hit your channel with copyright strikes. So I'm guessing that attorney told them, "You're not going to get anything out of this. You're lucky if the judge is even going to keep pursuing it or whatever." Because I can't even, like I said, if we had been smart enough, but we were not, because we didn't know, we should have fought the jurisdiction right from the get-go and said there is no $175,000 in damages here.
Right,
They cannot, they've literally finally proven on record that they have zero profit and zero expenses. They have no income from the TLA Foundation. They don't spend any money. So how did we damage their profits? Because they have none.
I know.
And they actually have been ordered not to have any. Remember?
Yeah,
San Diego.
yeah. Right.
So why are we even in a lawsuit? Why are we almost about to go to fucking trial? Why is the judge even considering it? Because there's no money. The judge has been, what is it? It's been since December, what?
Well, I think it's just the way the courts work. That it's easy, I think, to make the claims. That's why they had triple in damages, because they wanted to get the numbers way out of sight from that
but, like, but
175,000 they were
if
required.
they can't even. There are no damages. That's my whole point.
But see, the courts
There's
didn't
no
know that at the
triple in
time.
damages.
The courts didn't know that at the
And
time.
I'm saying, and we didn't either. We didn't know to say there is no jurisdiction. That this is not a federal issue.
Right, right,
It's not $175,000 case.
right.
It's certainly not a ask $2 million from me.
I know.
What, fucking sat next to you while you played some audios on the stream?
I know.
That's insane.
There's a lot of red flags, in my
That's
opinion,
insane.
about this case, and I don't. But it still ended up going through, and so that's the way the system works, I guess. Or
So yippee-ki-yay, motherfuckers.
yeah,
Sorry.
that's all right.
Just what you were saying made me think about, like, all of the things that T and Do taught about. And, like, how shitty are Mark and Sarah? How could they have sat there for 12 years and then this is the freaking...
Because you can think that you know better about how to
Like,
do
T and
things
Do were
in this situation.
We're ever putting off the aura of we're going to sue anybody who defies us. Like, if they look to the example of their fearless leaders, like that's what they're coming up with in their heads. Yeah, let's sue people. Let's sue former members of our group, of our family.
Yeah, right.
Fucking idiots.
So, Gondola from Finland says, sorry, that wasn't the topic of the stream, but still I felt like asking this. No, it's fine to ask me whatever is on your mind. I'm going to try to help you with that. I help you with a decent answer that's relative to T and those teachings.
Just watch out for the girlfriend in the background. I said I was going to be quiet.
It's okay. Kathy's got a lot to say and
Kathy's
a lot of good
wonderful.
things to
I
say.
have a lot to say.
And I'm glad to have her chiming in with what she feels to say about things, because she's more objective than I am about some things. And so it's good to get that perspective.
Definitely ready to whoop some ass.
There you go, Kathy. She's got it going on.
Got the feminine rage. And I'm sick of these people suing us.
Yeah, rightfully so.
Freaking nothing.
We haven't had any movement
Putting us
for
through
over a year.
hell.
Almost a year. No, not a year. Half a year. No movement at all on the case.
Fucking spending money we don't have.
Yeah.
For what?
So I'm going to, unless you want to go into it
No,
more.
I don't want to go
Okay.
into another rant. That felt pretty damn good. Because I know freaking Pipsqueak's here.
Maybe.
I can feel his little trollness under the bridge.
Oh, gosh.
I don't care.
It's okay.
Bitch is back. Just for a little bit though, it's Sawyer stream. Y'all tune into my stream tomorrow while I do deliveries and make $200 in 14 freaking hours.
Right. Kathy and I did a stream together. Kathy's stream. She's been streaming regularly. And every other day kind of is our pattern. I do work and driving people, taking people places, and she does the same thing with food, because she used to do people, but she can do live streams legally by doing food delivery.
Yeah, not having to ask for permission.
Right, not having to ask for permission from people to film what was going on and record, even though we actually have the right to record everything that happens and film everything that happens in the car.
You just can't live stream it without
Right.
prior permission.
Right, we just can't
so
stream
I could
it.
record it and then ask for their permission and then play it later, but that's not a live stream.
Right,
And I
Right.
live stream doing the deliveries.
right. And so we did a stream yesterday, yesterday, yeah.
Yep, it was yesterday.
and that worked out really well. And
Made $186.
yeah, $186 for a lot of hours. It really wasn't worth it from that perspective.
Yes, it is worth it though.
Well, yeah, because we also are building up your channel to
I
get
got 700 views, but typically I get at least 1,000.
right.
And tomorrow, I am going to get 5,000 views.
Okay.
No, but I'm going to get 1,000 views. I hope. Tune in and watch me struggle. No, I'm not going to struggle. Have fun.
She does have fun.
But Sawyer won't be.
But it's a long day. It's a long, grueling day to work for 12, 14 hours a day with travel
We
time
don't
and
have
everything.
as much of a drive this time, though.
Yeah.
We're closer to town.
And this seems to be the best way that we can both work for a long shift and then have the same schedule to be together, for some hours every day,
Cincinnati is so much better.
and then take a day off once in a while, like we're doing today. So let me get on to the topic of this conversation, the stream.
Yeah, what tape was it that we were listening to? 627?
Yeah, it was tape.
627. I insisted on listening to it. It's been going through my head.
Yes, Kathy's been saying that she brought it up and said, what do you think about listening to a tape? And I said, okay. And I said, I always like hearing those voices. She says, I do too. And said, so we're trying to figure out what number, and I don't have a clue. But she felt like she kept on hearing the tape number 627 come into her mind.
Or
And
June
so,
27th, I don't know. I keep hearing 627. What do you guys think?
yeah, at this point, we could go to June 27th, but we didn't this time anyway.
I think it's 627.
Yeah, and she's gotten these kind of like feelings before and played a tape and all of a sudden saw things in it that she felt like was appropriate for the things that she was going through, and
We go through.
that we all go through. And that can be, you can think that can be coincidence, but there's also, I think, to me, evidence that that the next level actually does care about what the people want in the world, and whether they're separating in their own way from this world. Even though that doesn't mean that they're denying themselves pleasures and opportunities and dreams to do this or that. No, not at all. And in fact, the next level wants people to pursue what they want, and hopes that some will recognize that they want what their mind offers. Enough to keep on looking to it, and anyway, but I'm see, I don't do these streams to get people to believe, or it doesn't do me any good really. I mean, sure, I get more subscribers, but I've been long past the amount of subscribers you need to live stream, so they didn't really have a requirement when I started of so many in order to live stream, and then by the time they put a requirement of 1,000 on there some time ago, I had been over 1,000 because I've been doing this since the early 2000s.
Oh, we forgot to buy cheese slices.
Anyway, so this tape that we're talking about, for anybody that's new to this stream, starting in about 1982, which was like 7 years after T and Doe got us together, they started regularly recording the private meetings that we were having with T and Doe and students at the time, whoever was there. And so basically the tapes start in 1982, like I said. And this tape is from 1991, which was, so T was only in the tapes from 1982 to 1985. So, about 3 and something years.
Such a short amount of time. I wish there was more.
Yeah, but there's plenty. There's plenty of tea in there.
We just have to have what we have to be grateful for what you got.
Yes. So, so this tape was recorded on October 21st, 1991. I was sitting in the group when the meeting was held, and it's almost impossible for me to give you a full context of this, but because even the terminology being used here wasn't really their terminology. They didn't, in 1975, they were the evolutionary level above human. That's how they were talking about themselves.
What about him? Human individual metamorphosis.
Right, and they used the term, the pseudonym, what do you call it? Is it a pseudonym?
HIM.
Yeah, but what do you call that? It's a
Acronym?
acronym? Yeah, the acronym HIM, which stood for Human Individual Metamorphosis. Because they were saying that just like a butterfly, a caterpillar, leaves its caterpillar world, doesn't circulate with caterpillars anymore, and forms a cocoon that becomes the chrysalis to change over into a new creature that now can circulate in a new world by being able to fly. That wasn't just an analogy, that the human body and mind also had the capacity to build a new body that was a next level body within the existing human body. And that's also what was demonstrated in what Jesus talked about in the Transfiguration. The word transfiguration, if you look it up in the Greek, at least in one of the ways that it's used, is metamorphose. So it has to do with a metamorphosis. And there's a bunch of English words that are very similar to Greek words. So I don't think that's an accident that happened that way, because T felt like that individual had grown his capacity, had grown his soul body enough to change over the physical body so that it could repair its body from a death scenario. Anyway, so I'm not going to go into that anymore because there's a lot to say about it. But so this, but I probably got off the track and didn't complete the thought that led to it. But I do that all the time. Maybe I'll get back to it, hopefully. But I was talking about terminology, because the terminology in this audio tape talks about one of the individuals that separated from the next level in a previous civilization, even over several previous civilizations, potentially, and then lost sight of the connection that he once had with the older members that he was looking to at the time when he became an elementary member of the next level. In other words, he had elementary responsibilities, like I believe Enoch was talking about as the Watchers, the observational task. The observation can be an important task. There's no question about that. But it doesn't have as many potentials for problems. And the next level doesn't trust everybody in the next level to be able to handle certain problems. And they want everybody to recognize that their older members have a greater perspective than they do because they've been at it longer. They've had more opportunities. They've had more experience, and they've made more choices trying to find the best answers to solutions to problems. And so that's one of the criteria for becoming a member of the next level while you're in the human kingdom, is to narrow your trust in uh, uh, a member of the next level. Now, that can be operating for all humans in degrees all the time throughout the human kingdom, to where humans form trust bonds with other humans. And they can think those other humans are above human, and sometimes they may be being influenced by above human influences that are even from the space aliens, which aren't members of the next level. They haven't graduated. They're what Doe would call human equivalents, because they were once in the next level environment with the next level body and next level assignments on their spacecrafts, in their laboratories, whatever laboratories they were allowed to be in, because everybody doesn't have free reign to go anywhere they want to in the next level. They're very serious about what they believe in and what they do, and accomplishing what they want to do in the best ways that they can, always looking to improve what they do, so that humans have free choices, free will to be anything they want to be, even to become rotten, like those that went against the next level and no longer even conceive of the next level as being a reality, besides thinking of them as another alien force that they're in competition with, and that they're trying to convince the government, they have been for a long time, the ones that are around this world, that the government needs to fight against these individuals that appear to be coming to recycle, and they're saying make humans their slaves, when they're the ones making humans their slaves through the enslavement of the humans that accept that they think they have a good reason to enslave people, even though they're not going to call it enslavement because it's not popular to use that term. But the bottom line is they're going to do what they want to do, and they're going to use everybody that they can use as collateral damage. And that's what drives people further and further away from them, to separate from that degree of what is genuinely evil. It's a manipulative, deceitful way of being. And T and Do weren't deceitful about anything. I mean, somebody could try to say that they were by not saying certain things at certain times, but to me that's a twist in order to make it look like they were deceitful when they weren't deceitful.
I feel like they were pretty upfront.
Yeah, they were pretty upfront. They didn't beat around the bush, and that's why it's so hard to take, because it's hard for us to think in ways. In fact, it's almost impossible for us to think in ways that justify T and Do's thinking, unless we start to experience it in some lifetime, or sometime in our genetics, or in our or in actual past incarnations, if you believe that's possible. And I think that T and Do do, but they don't associate with the same way of believing in reincarnation as some of the religions believe, that if you lead a good holy life, then you come back in a higher class of being, in the population. So you deserve something more. You deserve to be treated as a god or a holy person. That's your karma for overcoming, the human kingdom, which is a bastardization of the type of mind that does overcome their human characteristics, because they don't want to be seen as holy by other humans. They don't care if humans see them as good and holy and want to give humans want to give them their money and their support and their service and everything like that. They don't want that because they don't need that. It doesn't do anything for them to have millions of people that believe in them. Because all they want is to serve their older members and the whole system, the whole family. They become part of a family that knows that they're a family. And they only want good things for everybody, actually, humans as well. But the way the garden grows, they're allowing the freedom to choose to become good or not. And a lot more people don't become good. But the power of those that do become good is greater than the power of those, the many, that don't become good. And good is a relative condition. But one of the primary ways of looking at it is that you're not going to be deceitful to somebody to try to get what you want. In other words, you're not going to lie to somebody to get what you want if you're asking somebody for help with something, or you want somebody, you're asking somebody for something, that doesn't mean that you're deceitful about it. If you're just being direct about it. But if you're trying to make up a story in order to get somebody to do what you want to do, now you're starting to be deceitful. Now you can understand that with the government to some degree. Because the government isn't a person. You're not actually deceiving somebody if you don't report all your tax money, I don't believe. Even though, like Jesus said, give to Caesar what is Caesar's. Give to the government what the government makes. So if they make the money system, then you should expect to have to pay them something for their service of that, using that system. You don't have to, technically, right? We could all go live in the woods somewhere and try to barter with people. Right, and then you wouldn't have a sewer system, and you wouldn't have. Yeah, right. But at least you wouldn't be having to deal with the way that they take the tax money and do what the heck they want with it for the most part. And give the projects to people that really shouldn't do the projects, and sometimes they give it to people that can do a good job with the projects, and that's good when that happens. And so there's all kinds of good projects that are in the government still, because there's been goodness here, and there's still goodness here.
There's lots of goodness.
Yeah, there's lots of goodness, and
lots of badness.
And there's lots of badness, but
lots of dark.
So when the goodness is showing its face, and the badness comes down on them, with just showing their face, and it shows more what the badness is, so that you can't deny it anymore. And if you still deny it, then you're showing that you're in league with them as well. So you're actually showing the creators of this planet what you're made out of, and whether you actually have any goodness in you that amounts to something that can actually keep on growing in the system that has so much growth in it, that is multifaceted and multidimensional in the terms of that the soul, the mind, it's of a dimension that you can best think of as physical, being like a plasma kind of physicality. So that's different than a gas. And I'm saying plasma-like because that's the way that Doe described both the idea of mind, and which is the equivalent word to spirit. In 1975, Tiendo didn't use the word spirit much at all, except to equate it with the more accurate term was mind. Because the spiritual terms, even though they can have their value, also separate us from the greater realities. Because we have an illusionary idea about it. It's hard to really put your hand on something that you can't see and feel and measure and and recognize unless you have experience with things that are invisible or I mean you can see. I think dreams is experience of a different dimension. I don't think they're strictly necessarily from our own minds, being formulated in our heads alone. Uh, um, and you can get the ideas about the future from dreams, and you can get ideas about um, uh, directions to take, and you can also be misled. And you can think that also by having certain dreams that now all of a sudden you're like enlisted to be a seer, of some sort. That that your opinions and your ideas and your thoughts are all, able to. What's that?
Because you got one thing right.
Yeah, because you got one thing right. Now you can think that you were ordained by God to,
Or even a couple things.
Yeah, right. Even a couple of things. When you don't know, if you totally misunderstood that to begin with, and you don't know whether everything else that you're thinking and saying is right, when you're assuming that, you know, because of this and this, now all of a sudden you're an authority on the subject. And I can say that the only authorities I know on the subjects that I'm talking about are Tiendo's writings. And so for people that study those writings,
And their words.
yeah, their words, from their audios, from their videos, it's all, to me, part of getting a picture of how they worked, their minds, and how they thought, and the progressions that they went through, and the difficulties that they went through to get a more in-depth understanding about what they were all about. The only place you're going to really get that is from the audio tapes, in my opinion.
Mine too.
Yeah,
And I don't know why anybody would want to suppress that.
right. And so somebody to repress that means that they don't want people to get an in-depth view.
Crazy.
Right. So to think that you
crazy.
believe in that information, but you don't want anybody to get that in-depth view, at least on.
And I'll be like dead honest right now. Like, I don't. People who have been to my stream know that, like, I don't. I've readjusted my beliefs, and you should be allowed. So here's the point that I'm gonna make. Like, I've listened to probably, honestly, 600 hours or more of audio tapes. I have spent probably over the equivalent of a year listening to Doe in the Beyond Human tapes while I sleep for years. And I have never wanted to unalive myself because of the information. So if Mark and Sarah want to say that somebody will hear the audio tapes or they'll listen to the Beyond Human series and they'll want to unalive themselves, or the way that Sawyer talks or the way that Kathy talks, people are going to want to unalive themselves, well, I would be probably numero uno, almost, bought the sauce and blah, 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 whatever people want to say negative about it. And I don't want to do that at all. So I think people should be given the respect that they are due as grown-ups, as people with their own frickin' minds, and they can make their own decisions about whether they want to listen to the audios or not, and they don't need somebody named Mark King and Sarah King to tell them when, where, how many, which audio, what time they can fucking listen to it. And Sawyer and I and Carlotti got sued because we think that people should be able to have that choice, because we think you're smart enough.
Absolutely.
Anyway, that's all I've got to say about it. I made some tea for you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds good. So I was hung up on the terminology because in the description of this audio tape 627, recorded on October 21st, 1991, it's talking about overcoming Lucy and his many angels' separation from God.
Oh, I don't think it'll be too hot. I think it'll be just perfect. Might be a little strong.
That's great. Very good.
Joe's favorite, red zinger. Ginger. And then honey lemon ginger.
I like it. So, ordinarily, definition of terms. Disconnected from OBS. It's reconnecting.
It was right when I started shaking the kombucha, which is always a scary thing to do.
Reconnection successful, it says. I just got disconnected and connected again by OBS. So the context of this is well, I'm not going to go through all the context right now. So I'm just going to say that the word angels, the more accurate meaning of that word was, in that context, were individuals that separated from the next level's older member. The older member that they were working with when they got admitted to the next level's operations, were separating. So to overcome that means not looking to them and their behaviors and ways. And so I'm going to skip down instead of going to other things in this, to the actual, my rough notes from listening to the tape. And these are rough notes that it's not even close to a transcript. And that's why I'm keeping it rough, because then I can prove to the court, if this gets used against me, that look at this, it's all kinds of misspellings, because that's the way it is. I can't type very fast, and I so I'm putting in my own words sometimes in order to get the thoughts out. So I'm making a new product out of it as well, by the way.
It's a derivative.
Yeah, it's a derivative then, you could say. But it's not meant to be accurate. If people want to have it accurate, then they should find the tape on their own,
But
which
Mark
is...
and Sarah won't let you.
Right, they won't let you.
They say due to legal concerns, we can't do it.
Right.
So they got their way. Nanny,
Right.
nanny, boo-boo, Kathy and Sawyer, nanny, nanny, boo-boo.
Yeah. So,
Sorry. Not really, though.
but he was saying that calling this effort to broadcast to the satellite system, where there are many on the Jimmy Swaggart channel, after Jimmy Swaggart left the channel, where they could talk to
Oh yeah,
all
that's
the
right.
followers of that Jimmy Swaggart channel that would be tuning into what we would be saying, which he never did, although we did get close
But you
to it.
guys didn't you air the Beyond Human series? That's what you were.
Yes, but it wasn't on that channel, I don't think.
It wasn't on that satellite.
That Jimmy Swaggart satellite. I don't think so. I could be wrong about that.
I don't know.
Maybe it was.
Oh God, is it?
But see, we did. I thought what we did was we broadcast the tape that Junodi and I made, the videotape that Junodi and I made. We put that up on the satellite before the Beyond Human series was up, because that was the stage that we were at before Doe decided to do it for himself and create the Beyond Human series. He thought maybe the students were going to do the primary interface. And so Junodi and Soyodi were chosen for that task.
You just referred to yourself in the third person.
Yeah, yeah. And,
I love you for that.
okay,
I'm just fucking with you.
okay. Anyway, so, because we didn't get much response from that tape, I don't think. And I don't remember. Maybe a couple of people responded to it somehow. I don't even remember what the mechanism for response was on those satellite channels. But
They would like mail in a letter or something.
yeah,
There was email, wasn't there? That was 91. There was email. For sure there was email.
was there?
There had to have been.
I don't think so.
I remember I was in high school.
You had bulletin board services.
There was computers.
In '91,
There was definitely computers. When did the internet? I graduated in 93, and I remember talking about the
oh
World
yeah,
Wide Web.
yeah, because I had
And
I had a
like
computer in
Juno.
'86 or so.
We had you had little CDs
Yeah,
that you got in the mail,
right, right.
and then that's how you got AOL too. And you loaded it in. I don't,
Yeah,
was there internet on the? I mean, was there whatever on a floppy disk? I don't remember that. I just remember them being on CDs.
well, I know that the
Compact
upload
discs.
was on a floppy disk, a big floppy disk.
Well,
They had to have it
I
converted to a
used
big
a
floppy.
modem. Used a modem, and it went through the telephone line.
Right. Yeah, we've been doing that for a bunch of years
Yeah.
before
No,
that.
it's not,
No, and there's some people that are still on modems, I think.
I think you're right. Like
Uh,
universities too, maybe, or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know where exactly, but you're right about that. I don't know how they could have got in touch with us, but we were so busy preparing to then go public face to face with meetings in 1994 that it went so fast to where we put that tape up there. Don't remember really anything happening from it. At the same time, we were communicating with people in Australia, New Zealand, and in prisons. Because they were getting these newspapers that were alternative newspapers and seeing that article, and then some people were tuning into the Beyond Human series being put up on the satellite after that, and what came from that actually is other previous students that dropped out of the group, but ended up seeing those. Still, I guess, followed some things on the satellite dishes, and just so happened to see those Beyond Human series, even though Doe might have told them about some of them about it, because that wouldn't have been unusual for him to do with the individuals that wanted to stay in touch with him, even if they decided to leave the group. But sometimes they were encouraged to leave the group because they didn't seem to really want to be there because of some of the things that they were not wanting to face about themselves, and the things that were required to become a crew member of that kind of very, very focused family and organization. Anyway, to function, because the next level isn't about the members just sitting around on clouds playing harps. They don't do that at all. I mean, we know that's kind of stupid, but we don't know how to actually think about that unless we start to think about more of the next level being a reality.
What's going on in the chat?
Okay, it's a good time for that.
I gotta figure out how to get that in there. And then I need to take.
Okay, so Actor Michael Merchant says, how's the new campground?
Really nice.
We like it.
We've been here before. It's
You-
kind of our home campground.
Right. It's like our home campground. And we like it. And they,
We've got our favorite spot. Ooh, Michael,
Yeah.
go to my shorts. I just uploaded a couple of. I mean, don't go right now, of course. But I uploaded a couple of shorts that we're settling in quite nicely into our spot. And then
and
going up to Michigan for 8 days in a few days.
We
We'll
got-
shoot from up there. Sorry.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine. We're good.
Yeah, go to Kathy's Shorts on Kathy Southwestern
He's
if
been
you
on
want
my-
to.
Yeah, he's been on my.
Yeah,
He knows.
right. He's got some new ones there. That's what you were saying. I guess you could hear
I've
her.
been trying to work it like it's a business. You know, we're gonna make money from it.
We hope to, so that we can not have
are.
to work so darn hard
We're literally.
to just try to barely make it.
We have we're about 800 hours away from the first tier of monetization. So that's exciting, and then just 1,000 hours after that to where I get the Google ads. So I have a lot of back end stuff that I'm doing. I have like 400 things to edit and add things to, which I'm diligently working on.
So, Doe is thinking about talking about this broadcast as overcoming Lucy and his many angels' separation from God, and God meaning deity, creators of the planet and the life forms on it that T and Doe felt like they were representing on Earth for the once in a rare opportunity in the civilization.
Oh, it's getting cold
I
again.
know as hard as that is to wrap your head around, but it's what I believe is true. So anyway, so he says that if anyone has anything to overcome, that's all they have to overcome, the influence of the real creatures.
No, you're gonna want these.
And that means overcoming separation from the next level members. Who are operating against the next level family. And that's why so many humans are demonstrating, operating against any idea of responsibility to creators of this planet and the life forms on it in a good way, to where they're not trying to accomplish their own agenda of whatever it is, getting off the planet, or digging underground, to try to hide from what might be happening to the planet overall, or what humans might do to it if they start exchanging nuclear bombs with each other. What they've already done to the atmosphere and the soil, and in many of the places where food is being grown, and what they've done to the animal kingdom, using and abusing animals in ways that doesn't have to be done that way. And so these are what those what those Lucy and his many angels are groups of extraterrestrials fighting according to their own interests and strengths. And but the idea of being a celibate separate means that the vehicle is the choosing for the vehicle to become a tool by the mind that chooses to separate from their humanness. And so Doe begins to play the tape. He actually does play the tape on this audio tape. And I don't know where he was at the time. I think he was in person with us when he played the tape. And what he does is he goes into an introduction. But then he ends up... we didn't listen to the whole thing before we...
We're only listening to 25 minutes.
Right, we only listened to 25 minutes of the tape, so... But he went through it... What's that?
This is a short stream because it's my birthday.
Yes.
And I have to be asleep by 9, and you know what that means.
Yes, I'm going to end the stream in a few minutes. I've gotten to the place that we were at, so...
Great. No, I'm not. You still got...
Yeah.
I got to get my stuff ready.
Okay.
So for tomorrow.
Well, I still want to eat something, so...
Absolutely. Yeah, you can have time. I got to take a shower.
Yeah, okay.
540 Virginia. There's Virginia again calling.
I know. I keep on getting that call from whoever that is.
Washington.
I'm just getting rid of it. I think one time I maybe answered it by mistake.
It's just American Express.
And I don't know what they said.
It's the next step.
No, I think it was the person trying to get me to publish my book with them again or something. Buy a new deal or something.
Well, then that would be Author House.
Yeah, but they could be anybody working for them. There's all kinds of third parties.
You told me that before.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry to interrupt.
That's all right.
Okay, I gotta take my echinacea, bee pollen, and blah blah blah. You were on to what now? You were Doe was saying.
He was giving a nutshell capsule. Because he was thinking about this as a show that we would regularly do, where we were putting it up on satellite dish on Jimmy Swaggart's channel every week or twice a week or something like that.
It seemed a little like you were saying, like kind of sardonic about it, or like just kind of floating it out there.
Right. Right. So
and like how it would go over with Swagger, his Swagger.
Yeah, he felt like that was kind of a long shot, and the class was laughing when he was talking about it.
Exactly. You guys were giggling.
Because we knew that with the people that were followers of Jimmy Swaggart were going to have a hard time embracing much.
Even think about you guys?
Even though Doe thought maybe we could say things in a way to, not to give them a chance.
Intro or something.
Yeah, but he didn't want us to have to repeat the whole history over and over again. So that's why he was making this tape, to give a synopsis history.
And that would have been like an introduction that would have played maybe?
I think so.
Or something.
Yeah, like in the beginning of every episode or something. Or every...
It's too bad we can't, play the tape and exactly what he said in the recording. That's really a damn shame.
It is nice. It would be nice to do that.
Yeah, it would be really nice.
Because that would show you how Doe put a nutshell together. But you can read the nutshells that he made in all the different documents in the book.
Well, and you can email Mark and Sarah and say, hey, email me tape 627 so I can hear.
You can try to do that and see what they do. Maybe it'll give you a temporary version of it that'll disintegrate
I'm sure they haven't
after you.
listened to it. They haven't listened to the tapes. They don't listen to them. They don't
Doesn't
know
seem.
what's on them.
I doubt they've listened to very many.
Yeah. They just want to say, nope, everybody's too stupid to take it. We know what we can take. Can we handle the tapes? I don't know, maybe I'm crazier than I'm crazy because I've been getting sued. The tapes didn't make me crazy. The tapes made me very calm. I love hearing Doe's voice. I love hearing T's voice. I don't know why you would want anybody not to be able to hear that. You know, legally, we actually could play like 30 seconds or something. We're not going to.
Probably.
We could.
Probably. Because there is legal basis for that.
Yeah, you're allowed to play. There is such a thing as fair use.
Yeah, it's a real thing.
And once this lawsuit has concluded, like, we're going to be able to do a lot more than we were able to do before.
Probably.
And they bit off way more than they could chew. They thought they were going to win even before it started.
I know. They did. They showed that by trying to get the judge to rule in their favor to have a preliminary injunction
and protection
right in the
orders.
beginning. In
And
other words, so
protection
that we
orders
couldn't
against
say
us.
anything.
Yeah. Preliminary injunctions and protection orders. And
Yeah.
then you had the nerve to say, I'm not trying to take down your channel. Anyway, what were you saying about the show and the swagger?
What about Swagger?
This was October of '91.
Yeah.
The introduction that he wanted to say, the Celibate Separatist stuff. That's what you were just about to get to before I interrupted and went on a rant.
Right. I did write down some of it.
Wonderful. Let's hear it.
Okay.
And I'll shush.
Yeah, I didn't do very good to keep up with it. So, I do have a few things though, but that he was saying that the celibate separates, he was talking about the class members, last days are in the human kingdom, or upon them.
Oh, that they felt that the last days of the
Yes, and that it was the close of an age of some 6,000 years, and that the earth has gone through a number of cycles and ages. And that that the souls were what the next level would be harvesting. In other words, harvest meaning bringing into their ranks, giving them positions on spacecrafts in labs. That the ones that chose to drop out had left, and other tasks as well. And so those souls were being fought over by extraterrestrials, being those angels that separated from God, okay, in that older terminology. And that they would be fighting over, according to their own self-interest and their strengths, to fight for them. And the celibate separates are these that came to feel that the vehicle is a tool to become what it chooses after being cloistered in the classroom for many years. So that's all we got to before he talked about some other things that were distracting him, which I don't know that I really need to go through. But I'll just go through it quickly, because then I'll be through all my notes. But he was talking about that aside from this tape being broadcast, whether that happens or not, that he feels like he was confused by so many things happening simultaneously. Like his quarters, where Doe was living, that the vibes were very strange there. And the place is not clean. And he was in a warehouse.
That was the warehouse, y'all.
Yeah, we were all in a warehouse, and he had like one of the office spaces in the warehouse as his. And one of the things he didn't like about it was it didn't have, because he wanted the whole class to have a better experience. Because like the bathrooms, I think there were 2 bathrooms in some of these warehouses. But it was hard to use them for for making food and everything for everybody. And
were they in a weird space or something?
it was the warehouse, so there was no plumbing for that.
But
And
so how are you guys going to the bathroom?
We used the warehouses for the bathroom, and we took our showers in our little pop-ups and trailers.
That were parked.
And then we had drain pipes going from them into the holes in the floor where there was drainage pipes. So that, like if the floor flooded or something, you could, the water would go down there. Because it was a warehouse. We had cars parked inside there. And we had electric cables going everywhere between them all. We had intercom cables going everywhere. We had telephone cables going. We had TV cables going everywhere from the satellite dishes that we put on the roof of this. This was in California, Southern California, Laguna Hills.
All right, I am gonna get in the shower momentarily. I gotta get my clothes ready for tomorrow. That's the next thing I gotta do, and then I'm gonna get in the shower. Okay. I got all my stuff packed. I am so excited to work and drive in Cincinnati tomorrow. I hope I make a bunch of money.
Oh, I didn't go to the tape where I talked about the tape. I did write down quite a bit. I forgot about that.
Right, like he said quite a bit of stuff. And I know you did quite a bit of note taking.
There it is. Hello, he says. So then he begins to talk about the content. Well, the tape starts to play, and he says, approximately 16 years ago, a couple of individuals came forward with a statement that was sent out and had some I don't know what that word is. Meetings, right. And had some meetings, and they said they too were from the kingdom of heaven and same place Jesus had come from, but they were from the same root, same family as Jesus, and that they had been sent to those who wanted to leave the human kingdom, overcoming the human kingdom or the kingdom of heaven, and if listening to the teachings of these two could rise above. And that's when Kathy said, "Oh, Rise Above. I wonder if that was where Rise Above got his name, because there's an individual that comes into our streams sometimes with the name Rise Above." And then anyway, so then Doe goes on to say that many were confused when they heard these two who came from here and there and were doing this and that, and got in the way of their understanding of how that if a soul awakens, depending on who that soul is, it becomes something completely different that it was prior to awakening. And these two, when they awakened, left the world behind and had a difficult time leaving the world behind. Um, but recognized that they were sent from the heavens, and that they recognized that they would be seen as being blasphemous. And 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 were these strange kind of evangelicals, but they couldn't deny it because they felt like their heavenly Father asked them to openly um, start the project to give to souls who had also come to get vehicles to do a task, to accept an unusual, condemnable position and predicament, to openly state where they had come from and that their state was, and that they knew they had to tell it. And when did others heard it, begin to have no choice but to choose to become followers of these two or go against them, kind of, or just ignore them or whatever, the other choices are. And which doesn't mean that they're going to hell or anything. It just means that that wasn't on their docket at that time to make those kind of choices. But it doesn't mean that it's the end of anybody that didn't make those choices, because it wasn't designed for everybody in the human kingdom to choose to drop everything, leave everything behind, and follow these two individuals. So the two, Tiendo, when some of the students in the first meetings said they wanted to follow them, they weren't really comfortable with that. But then it became clear that they needed to go with that. That was part of what they were here to do. And so they began to lead around the individuals that were coming from meetings that they were holding, by telling them, well, where they could go next, and how to stay connected through the type of phone connections that they developed across the country, operating largely through leaving messages at hotels in order to get messages for new phone numbers in order to stay in touch with each other. And with Tiendo and the other groups that were traveling around separately for 1975 and part of 76. Well, part of 75 and part of 76. And it had to do with learning that the kingdom of heaven was really a physical reality, and that rising above the human kingdom addictions was the program. So they went on to hold the meetings for about a year, and then they called the students that had gathered from that about a year to have them join them in a classroom in a remote area. It happened to be in Wyoming, and to actually approach the overcoming process in earnest, to learn that the kingdom of heaven learn about the kingdom of heaven and attempt to get their behavior to match what these teachers were teaching or giving to them. And that it was a metamorphosis to take control of our impulses and our sexuality and anything that in our consciousness remains a consciousness of the human kingdom, and a capacity to expand your mind, a limited capacity. You're trying to overcome a limited capacity of expanding your mind, and a capacity to advance your concepts of higher information and your ideas about what is higher information, and get away from the religions. He wasn't saying that here, though, because of how the religions became distortions of that higher information and dilutions, and from that, the students would be watching their body and the mind getting more in control of the body. And when people conquer addictions in the human kingdom, they watch how they can get in control of their addictions. And when they get that experience, they know that there are ways of doing it. It's not something hopeless. And it's not something that doesn't have its benefits of not being addicted to something that was you were desiring to conquer because of having seen the detriment of that behavior, whatever that is. And so Doe began to say in this tape also that you would begin to understand that there is more than one physical body, and that the physical body that we see, that humans see, is a shell. That when one human looks at another, they see that shell. But that another body, which Doe talked about as being like a pillowcase at that time, and that is also physical. And that it's not limited to an etheric condition. In other words, an etheric condition that blows around with the wind and whatever, however you look at that. Like the I don't know if the spirits, the discarnate beings that exist in the human kingdom, I don't know how they respond to the wind and things like that. But I guess we did get some indication that animal spirits can be subject to making the wind, like the buffalo that were trampling through the Midwest, that Tiendo said was one potential reason for that being so bad of a wind is because of all those buffalo that were herded and killed by the European, largely white people, in terms of the Caucasianness of them at the time, that were doing that kind of thing. Where the Indians, I don't think, did that kind of thing because they probably didn't want them to all run away. I don't know how they hunted. They might have hunted them in herds as well. But the humans at the time, they were shooting them for sport. They were like getting paid for how many, horns they brought back and sold in the East and, in New York and other places where they were buying and selling the parts of and they were probably letting the bodies just rot, where the American Indians weren't doing that with the bodies. They were using them for food. And not only that, but for clothing and everything. But I don't think humans that were doing that to the buffalo herds were doing that. Some of them were, because they wanted to profit from it too, to use them for meat and things. I don't doubt that. But some were just after, they put a bounty on them of some sort, I think. To try to, I don't know if they saw them as a nuisance or what. Because maybe they were getting in the way of the trains and stuff. I'm not sure exactly what There is probably some history in that we could research to learn about some of the reasons for those buffalo disasters. But that a human body, a human physical body, can change its instruction to be invisible to the human eye if it goes through a type of metamorphosis. It has to go through that experience, that metamorphic experience, in order to develop the strength of mind to actually change over that vehicle. And it might take a special ingredient from the next level to change over that ingredient. And Jesus might have received that during that time that was talked about as the Transfiguration. Though, I think both felt that that was the time when he received that and also got his instructions that it was time to exit, which he agreed to ahead of time, and he realized that he had agreed to it ahead of time. You can see that in the records. And that, though, continues to talk about this tape and says that, on this tape, and he says that it was also learned that the body or soul body, that it was because of ignorance to think that the soul body wasn't a physical body that could become a member of the kingdom of heaven. But in this, there's even a little bit of talk about that in one of the Paul's documents, where he talks about that there are terrestrial bodies and they are celestial bodies. And in that context, it doesn't sound like he's talking about celestial bodies as planets, because he talks about terrestrial bodies. And you can get more of the context if you read the whole verse there. So it seems like the ones that became the students of that older member from the next level at that time with the name Jesus knew some things about what I'm talking about now in terms of soul bodies having a degree of physical density. And that the human body can be controlled by an advanced mind that is common to other tribes in the world of the heavens. So tribes meaning groups of people, and that even goes to the idea that there are planets that don't have the space alien souls around them to influence humans, to go against what we're thinking Doe is calling a tribe or family of the next level members. Yeah. Okay, good. All right. All right. All right, so I'm going to leave it at that.
Well, go through your comments.
Yeah. There's no new comments.
Okay, great.
So,
We have plans.
all right. So that's about it for that, and I'll continue with this in listening to more of this tape.
Yeah, you've got to stream tomorrow,
Right. I'll probably stream tomorrow as well. So, good night, folks. Been a pleasure.